Hey everybody, it's your spiritual big brother. I've got a cool one for you guys today. It's kind of a human behavior type thing. And I seen it, observed it, and I found myself thinking about it afterwards. So I kind of wanted to present you guys the situation, kind of what happened, and then kind of think about it. You know what I mean? Sit and think with that for a little while. I think it's going to kind of open people's eyes up to the reality of what we live in and how easily things can get manipulated or changed, even though what maybe we believe in or think about, how easily emotions can influence the way that what do you want to call it? The way that, not consequences, but the way that things resolve themselves. That's not the word, but you'll understand what I'm saying. So let me tell you about it, okay? So I was at Dunkin' Donuts, okay? There was a long line. And everybody, at least that I'm aware of, that's in America knows that, you know, since you were in high school or young age, you don't cut the line. You just don't. It's just kind of like an understood thing. I mean, the only time that you should ever cut the line is, you know, never practically, unless I guess if you're at the hospital and you're literally dying and the people ahead of you aren't dying. That's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. But here's what happened. So I was in line. I was ahead, okay? And I had made my order. And when I drove up, I noticed that somebody somehow slipped in. I mean, I was, you know, a bunch of cars back, same guy behind me in a truck. And all of a sudden, when I made my order and I moved up, I noticed that there was like a silver Honda there all of a sudden. And I'm like thinking, like, where did this person even come from at all? And so the guy that was in the truck, while that person was ordering, decided he wasn't going to have it, okay? Laying on the horn the entire time that person was ordering. It must have been at least a minute and a half. And really think about that. A minute and a half, somebody laying on the horn, that's a long time. And I'm not exaggerating. I think it was about a minute and a half. The guy did not let off the horn at all. So, what happened next? The lady that was actually ordering, the one that cut the line, got out of her car, irritated, naturally, and starts like yelling at the guy. The guy's like, hey, you know, what are you doing? Well, why did you cut me, you know, or whatever. So she's getting fired up. People from inside the Dunkin' Donuts are coming out. Some bystanders that were just in the parking lot next to this were also getting out of their cars. Most of them women. I don't want to make this into a guy versus girl thing. It's not that, but I just want to paint the picture fully so you can just understand it. At the end of the day, I'd rather you not look at it as like a male versus female thing. I think you just need to look at it emotionally speaking. That's really what I'm getting at. Look at it for the core as human beings here. But so a lot of ladies came out, and I don't know if they knew everything that happened. They weren't there. Like, they weren't there like I was there, or like the guy in the truck, or the girl for that matter that cut. To see the whole thing, see what happened, see why. I think, in my opinion, the horn was justified to an extent. I think a minute and a half was a little overbearing. I think it was a little overwhelming. And I think that's why bystanders and other people that were coming out that didn't know what happened were more mad at the guy. What ended up happening was this guy was getting attacked from, like, not literally attacked, but like everybody was kind of coming over to him. One of the bystanders that was defending the lady that cut, I don't even know if she realized that she cut, but ended up taking her side anyways, was yelling at that guy, you know, saying, you know, fuck you, like, you know, you shouldn't have done that, or this, that, and the other. Like, I mean, like, wildly just out of control is what this was happening. And even I got in a little bit. I'm like, hey, lady, I was like, back of the line. You know what I mean? I was out my window saying that. But then things just escalated. And like, and not from me, but from everything else that was going on. Because I was a good, like, 2 car lengths ahead while I was yelling. So, you know, I ended up being like a chirp in the background. Nobody really heard me in my car. But think about that. I mean, really think about that. When emotions get involved in these type of situations, and I mean, there's clearly that guy, the way that everybody understands it is that you just don't cut a line. End of story. End of story. So that guy did something about it, okay? Was it obnoxious? Yeah, Maybe a little bit. Could he be in the wrong for being obnoxious? Yes. But ultimately, the reason that he was obnoxious, that's really what this is. In my opinion, this is like the you know, what we're dealing with here. So I feel like you can apply this situation to almost anything. When things get out of control, it usually comes down to the emotions involved. The girl was out of her car yelling and approaching that guy's vehicle. And I think a lot of other people, this is just my opinion, seen that maybe it was a little bit obnoxious. They were a little bit bothered by the fact that that horn was blaring for so long without knowing exactly what happened. Seeing that girl getting out, frustrated, probably matching other people's frustrations from that horn, and getting out and basically attacking the guy that created this disturbance for everybody else, this obnoxiousness. Even though I think the guy was justified in what he did to an extent. But you can see how everybody that walked away from that, it looked like that guy ended up being in the wrong. Because 4 or 5 different people, including employees that weren't even there, bystanders that only heard the horn, didn't know what happened, all got out, all fed the emotion that that one woman was bringing, and basically attacked that guy. Not physically, but verbally. And who ended up being the guy in the wrong at the end of the day? The guy in the truck. And I mean, I swear I have seen this on social media, or maybe they contextualize it in different ways. I swear I've seen this in other situations before too. But I was actually a witness to this one, and I couldn't believe it after it was done. I was like, that guy looks like a jackass. And I'm like, I'm impartial to it. I side with the guy. Not just because he's a guy. If I was in his position, I would have felt the same way. So that's one for you guys to sit and think with for a while. I think that that's interesting. I think that that's just a weird human behavior. That when we get emotional, how that can kind of blur the lines of like what is, you know, what's factual or what's real, like hard evidence there. And you see that all over the place. I mean, you can see that anywhere. Just jump on social media and you'll see people getting emotional about things. And then everybody gets emotional, everybody gets offended, etc. So I think that that's a cool example to kind of just look at and think about and study for a while. I think personally, because it's a perfect example of human behavior and what a lot of people kind of go through. I mean, like, we can't even look at the facts, because if we get emotional about it, then it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter what the facts are, what's right or what's wrong. It matters who's more emotional about it and who's got people to side with them on it, even when the lines get blurred. And I think it's a huge issue with our culture right now. It's probably been an issue with culture, society for I mean, probably as long as humans have existed and can communicate with each other. So, all right, that's all I got on this one. I thought it was really cool. I wanted to share this with you guys. I know this one's a little bit of human behavior here, but I thought it was cool. I just thought it was a cool example. I mean, me witnessing it and pulling out of there and just being like, man, I can't believe that even happened. So, yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you guys on the next one.